Welcome back again to Croke Park. So the crowd will wait the arrival of Mayo, and here come the Mayo players, led by their captain Peter Ford. And there's big Liam McHale himself, and what an ovation awaits these Mayo players. Well, you know, there can be few greater occasions in sport than an All-Ireland semi-final or final. I've had the privilege of being at some great sporting occasions like European Cup finals, Grand Prix motor races, but there's something special about Croke Park here on big match day. So the Mayo supporters, the Donegal supporters in fine voice. Pat Spillane, our match analyst here with me in the presentation box, has been in fine voice. Your question here, I think, Pat, if John Finn has actually been talked about.
I think if we look at him, he's number 17, he doesn't appear to be wearing a tracksuit. I don't know whether we can pick him out or not, but that could be very significant bearing, because certainly a good defender, and I was very surprised that he hasn't made the team at all. Just wonder whether he is playing or not.
All right, well, we'll find out that perhaps a little bit later on, Pat. Let's take a look, though, as we watch the Mayo players warming up. They kept their Donegal opponents waiting for about 5 minutes before they came out onto the field here, which is interesting.
They did indeed. Obviously, maybe Mayo, having been here before, they feel that they don't want to get used to the atmosphere. And yes, that's John Finn, all right.
John Finn. Tell you what, Pat, let's go down to Jim Carney, who's down at pitch side, and see if he has any news on this for us.
OK, Michael, well, it's absolute bedlam down here in a packed Croke Park. Mayo just went out a few moments ago. A change on their subs list from what people here in Croke Park will see on their programme. Pádraig Brogan was omitted, simple error, but he's wearing 24. He's very much in Mayo's plans. And he's a likely man to come on. His name is not in the programme, but number 24, Pádraig Brogan, will be there if they need him. One man who won't be there, however, is Paul McStay. He's a fringe member of the panel now, but he has a damaged hand and he's not togging out today. The team talk was given by Brian McDonald. Peter Ford was last man to speak. In a tense dressing room. It was quite emotional in there as Ford spoke, leading his men out. Willie Joe Padden, the only man involved in superstition down through the years here, he always wanted to wear number 9. He insisted on number 9 instead of number 8. Well, there's no number 9 sadly for Willie Joe today. He's in the subs. However, he too is available if they need him. Now, over in the Donegal dressing room, it was a very tense scene too. The 6 subs were named. They were John Cunningham, Paul Carr, Barry Cunningham, Manus Boyle, John Joe Doherty and Sylvester Maguire. And incredibly, and this is quite dramatic really, there's no sub-goalkeeper listed in that 6 for Donegal. And when I put it to the selectors there, Seamus Boner, he said that they'd cross that bridge if they came to it. But remember 76 when Paddy Mahoney had to go off to be replaced by Charlie Nelligan. Well, incredibly, in the 6 official subs today, there's no Donegal goalkeeper. That's the scene here as we hand back to you, Michael.
Jim Carney, thank you very much. So John Finn gave us a little flutter there, Pat. Not wearing a tracksuit like the rest of the subs, but looking through this Mayo team, it's a very, very experienced Mayo side, and given even the players they have on the bench to call in, like Willie Joe himself, they've really got a lot of experience.
They have the added bonus of having been successful in an All-Ireland semi-final, being successful in Croke Park, which Donegal haven't been. But Connacht football tradition in the last couple of years has been the weakest province, and unfortunately Mayo have done there's been no good matches in Connacht this year, and Mayo so far have not played very well. Perhaps today could be their day. They have a fairly solid defence. Their attack is weak enough. I was just looking at both teams have played 4 games each. The Mayo forwards have scored 239 and the Donegal forwards have scored 349, which is they're an impressive forward line.
Yeah. Donegal themselves, of course, not without experience, and one man that we saw there, Anthony Malloy, who's been in the Donegal team, I think, back to 1983 and their appearance against Galway in the semi-final that year. So a lot of experience as well in the Donegal side. Yeah,
I think a lot will hinge on the midfield, like I said, with Malloy and them. Both teams need a winning midfield. Mayo to get the ball in long to Liam McHale as a target man, and Donegal need a winning midfield because they've got a very small, light forward line and need good quality possession. So whoever wins midfield today is going to win the game, and personally I think I'm going to give Donegal the edge.
OK, Pat, we'll talk more about this intriguing semi-final in just a moment. Right now, though, we take another commercial break.
Morning.
Morning.
Well, no rest for the wicked.
Win, lose or draw, you're always a winner at Supermax.
Tasty and tempting food at Supermax.
Watch out for Cajun Paddy.
Here we go! Oh, he wrote to Phoebe Baskin down to Paris, Bristol town. He wrote to...
Levafas is a proven drench for fluke and worms in sheep and cattle. Choose economic fluke and worm control with Levafas, a quality Norbrook product.
Oh, the rhythm of life is a powerful beat. Puts a tingle in your fingers, a tingle in your feet. A rhythm in the player, a rhythm in the street. Oh, the rhythm of life is a powerful beat. And the rhythm of life,
the rhythm of life, to feel the powerful beat,
a rhythm in the player,
the rhythm in your fingers, to feel the rhythm of life,
to feel the rhythm of life, to feel that powerful beat, to feel the rhythm in your fingers, to feel the rhythm of life, of life, of life, of life. Oh, yeah.
Separate detergent and softener could mean spending more than you need. Stop. Why buy two? Just buy Bold. And that saves you money.
McGreevy's Westport are more than newsagents and food store. There's McGreevy's Super Toys, Cards and Bookshop, with everything from stationery and fancy goods to auctioneering and valuing. McGreevy's Westport.
Morning, Marlene. Kellogg's Bran Flakes, please.
New trainers, Vince?
Yeah, I'm taking a few small steps to change my lifestyle.
So you started running?
No, but I'm thinking about it.
So how have you changed your lifestyle then?
Kellogg's Bran Flakes. They're low in fat and high in fibre, which is part of my healthier lifestyle. And they taste good.
So basically, your new lifestyle is eating Kellogg's Bran Flakes while wearing trainers?
Well, it's a start.
Kellogg's Bran Flakes, a step in the right direction.
Prove I love you. Sure, didn't I miss the match to take you to your sister's wedding?
In a world of different ways and ways to make that call.
It's the quiet before the storm here at Croke Park with less than 3 minutes to go to the big match itself. In the minor, Waterford minor hurlers are already through to the All-Ireland final here today. Armagh's minor footballers have also reached the All-Ireland final. Who will it be from the senior game? Will it be Donegal for their first ever appearance? Will it be Mayo for the first time since 1989? Our commentary team this afternoon are Colin O'Rourke and Joe Canning.
Thank you very much indeed. And the colour, the splash of green and gold mixing with the green and red from Mayo as the champions of the West meet the champions from Ulster. The parade well and truly underway here, and it's a really colourful setting on this splendid August afternoon. First ever meeting in the championship of these two counties. And the Mayo fans certainly had their chance to get thunderously behind their team when they came out onto the field some minutes ago. We've already had the Donegal fans rooting for their Ulster neighbours Armagh in the minor match which preceded this game. So the Artane Boys band, assisted there by 4 young men following the band, whom you'll see just in a moment. Martin O'Reilly from Mayo, Limo Murphy and Dara Murphy from Belfast, and David Cullen from County Cavan there, just in the parade immediately in front of the teams. Mayo fans hoping that this will be their day after so many near misses, their 5th time to win the Ulster Championship, and now hoping finally to make it through to the All-Ireland final itself. Anthony Malloy leading the men from Donegal, and of course Peter Ford, the fullback and captain of Mayo. The setting here quite remarkable, uniquely Irish in so many ways. Fans from both counties mingling, mixing, the banter, the great colour, and roaring themselves hoarse, and the match is still about 3 minutes to go. Great occasion for Anthony Malloy as well, one of those players who's seen it all before. Disappointed here 2 years ago. The smiling Donald Reid there just ahead of Martin Gavigan, Martin Shovlin just behind him, and Brian Murray, Dublin-based man. And so now the chance for the two teams to get into their positions. It's a perfect afternoon for good football. On paper at least it would appear that they are very evenly matched. So the Donegal team grouping here. We can take a check. Barry McGowan, who greatly impressed when coming on as a replacement for Tony Boyle, given the number 2 shirt this afternoon, while full forward Boyle is fit enough to take his customary place in the forwards as usual. It'll be interesting to see where the McHughes play, but we'll have that in a little while. Achanish, Furin Vuyo, August out on the Vian. Of the Mayo team. The Connacht champions offer a slightly restructured attack. Kevin Staunton gets the nod to start this semi-final at centre half forward, with Liam McHale repositioned there on the fringe of the small rectangle. And Ray Dempsey picking up the number 13 shirt, in spite of the fact that he'd been making a real job of the full forward role. There's Tommy Sugrue, of course, from Kerry, who refereed the 1988 All-Ireland final between Meath and Cork. Just checking the watch. I may have caught a quick glimpse there a little while ago of the fullback Matt Gallagher from Donegal. He missed the huddle in his anxiety to pick up Liam McHale, but now he's got his man. And so it is Donegal who won the toss, accepting the favourable elements in the first half. They play from right to left. Anthony Malloy straight away pressurised. And this is Sean Maher, of course, in the 1989 All-Ireland final. Martin McHugh lifting the tempo of the attack to set up Tony Boyle here. Going towards top of the left, Peter Ford has followed. Back to McHugh. There's a scoring chance here, and it's just gone outside. Not too much in that, but a confident start there nonetheless, Colm O'Rourke, by this Donegal team.
Yes, and Martin McHugh involved on a couple of occasions. Martin McHugh, who probably had one of his best ever games for Donegal, or probably his most effective in the Ulster final, when he got through a lot of work when Donegal were a man short. Tried to shade the ball there from right to left with the outside of his foot, but the wind seems to have died down a bit, and it didn't just come in for him.
Yes, it's certainly not as strong as it was a little earlier in the afternoon. James McHugh, the player who is fouled, and Sean Maher, the one who gets the ticking off from the Kerry-based official. So it's going to be the corner forward, Declan Bonner, or Bonner as he's also called. Seems to depend on which part of Donegal you come from. So the man from the Rossa with this free 46 metres out. Good interception inside. Peter Butler, the left half back, the one who's fouled. So Mayo with a lot of experience of big match day, a lot of know-how in their ranks as well. Up against the side, I think, that most people have installed as favourites. So many people already talking about a possible Dublin v Donegal final, but it's a long, long way to go. Sean Maher with the attempted catch, getting it the second time. Nicely fed inside towards Staunton. Off balance as he was hitting down one in towards Liam McHale. The first ball won in there by Matt Gallagher, and finally cleared away by Noel Hegarty. It's going to be quite a duel between Liam McHale, depending on which position he takes up. Matt Gallagher has gone and covered his track on each occasion so far. So the sideline ball for Mayo. Lobbed in there, but again it's Martin Gavigan who takes it. Not a good clearance out as far as Finnerty. And he's got the chance to put Mayo in front. Well, they call him affectionately Larry, but it's Anthony Finnerty who gives Mayo the lead. And a bad clearance really out of defence by Gavigan.
Well, I think Liam McHale did well there because he sort of half blocked the clearance, got his left hand in and half blocked it, and I think that was the reason why it fell short to Anthony Finnerty.
Fisted down by TJ Kilgallen, one of the most popular of the Mayo men. Raymond Dempsey having such a great season, nicely on towards Charlotte Jennings. And we're playing into the slight breeze in this first half. Martin Shovlin protesting the innocence. Matt Gallagher was there as well, the number 3. But it gives shooting practice to this player from Hollymount. Only 22. And a player who was always thought to be a real senior prospect. So, chance to increase the lead. It curls in delightfully inside that far post. So the perfect start for the Connacht champions.
Yes, this angle of course suits a left-footed free taker, is able to bend the ball from left to right. Probably an easy enough free to start with. I didn't think he was fouled, but you give Charlotte Jennings a great boost in confidence for his first semi-final in Croke Park.
Yes, such a big occasion for so many of the younger players on view out here. Indeed, many of the older fellows will tell you as well, no matter how often you play here, it's still an intimidating atmosphere as Peter Ford collides with his own man, Kevin Byrne. And the referee's whistle had sounded for a previous indiscretion. Kevin Byrne felt the effects of it.
Yeah, Kevin Byrne goes down and picks the ball off the ground, and the referee had given a free at that stage, and Tony Ball and Peter Ford are coming out. Peter Ford collides with his own man and seems to have done a little bit of damage.
Bonner curling it in, and he's put it wide. A second wide for Donegal for a nervous enough looking Declan Bonner. Declan Bonner being marked by Dermot Flanagan, who's been through it all, of course, part of the side that played here in 1985 in that drawn game, and the replay against Dublin a little bit later on. Gabriel Irwin, been encouraged by the referee to hurry it up. He's just sizing up the options. Fisted down here by Brian Murray. Kevin Byrne, again, knocked off that ball as the ball was playing away. Nicely under it, Noel Hegarty for Donegal. And the referee nipping in very smartly now, and he's calling aside Raymond Dempsey for the challenge on Noel Hegarty. And the name is going to go into the book. So a first booking in the match. The Mayo man Raymond Dempsey, the one who has his name recorded by Tommy Sugru. Referee just anxious to stamp his authority on the game. Nothing untoward really happening anywhere in the field so far. Now, James McHugh, progress stopped. He picked it up well and he scored a good point. That's a very good one for James McHugh. He seemed to have lost his way. The defence had converged neatly around him, but he gathered his wits and stuck over a very sweet point indeed.
James McHugh does very well here, surrounded by 5 backs. Most backlines would expect him to pass the ball out, and we're expecting it, and instead of that he turned around and kicked a very good point from play.
Sean Maher in a race for possession with Anthony Malloy. Malloy gathering there for Donegal. Fouled by Tony Morley. Wasn't a fair shoulder to shoulder, shoulder into the back in fact. And straight away on Far Bjog, Martin McHugh sizing up the free kick prospects. Just outside the 45-metre line. Hit well, but going slightly to the right. So now we've had 3 wides for Donegal and only 7.5 minutes gone in the first half. Gabriel Irwin, an All-Star Award winner of course back in 1989, continuing to keep the more experienced Eugene Lavitt out of the side. Donald Reid beaten for it by Tony Morley. TJ Kilgallen. This performance in midfield is going to be critical to Mayo's chances in particular. It's taken neatly by Barry McGowan. Shoveling very much in the action. Now Donald Reid. Very experienced half-back line Donegal present. Joyce McMullen feeding the ball forward to Donald Reid, who stayed forward. Nicely inside again to Joyce McMullen. What a move! Brilliantly blocked by the goalkeeper. Gabriel Irwin coming out well. McMullen and Donald Reid involved in the classical build-up. But the goalkeeper read the intention so well.
Great move by Donegal down the field. Donald Reid involved a couple of times. He's very good coming forward and gives it to Joyce McMullen. Gabriel Irwin does very well. It's out about 7 or 8 yards. A couple of Donegal forwards would have preferred if Joyce McMullen had crossed that ball. There was a couple free and it would have been a relatively easy goal chance. But credit to Gabriel Irwin for a very smart advance.
Runners 45. High up into the air, dropping neatly over the crossbar to tie up the match at 2 points apiece. Well, he had a few chances. That was his 3rd kick in all. So Donegal 2, Mayo 2. There's all the usual raw tension about on semi-final day. We're so near the final itself, and yet so far. Kilgallen feeding it back here. Tomas Tierney. That's well gathered by the fullback Matt Gallagher. Great fullback play, getting out there ahead of his man. Down towards James McHugh, fisted it on despite the attentions of Kevin Byrne. Out comes Peter Ford here. In trouble, needing support and getting it. Anthony McGarry, a player who will take this free for Mayo. That's his club football with Parnell's here in Dublin. And the referee has again gone forward and he's having words with Martin Shoblin and with Jarlath Jennings. They've already booked Raymond Dempsey, remember. So the message is quite clear to Martin Shoblin of Donegal. And he's also taking the name of the Mayo man. So 3 bookings so far, 2 for Mayo, 1 for Donegal. It hasn't really been a hard, tough physical match by any manner of means. Good call there by Martin Gavigan. Oh, they mix it up between them, Shoblin and Gavigan, allowing Staunton to come in. Kevin Staunton seeking support, but he touched the ball on the ground. And the referee right next to it, just yards away. And Matt Gallagher, who was voted the player of the Ulster Championship, has started very prominently indeed at fullback. Oh, that's kicked into space to Tony Boyle. He was given yards there by Peter Ford, but good covering again by Anthony McGarry, spotting the intentions. Morley transferring from left to right, trying to avoid the challenge of Joyce McMullen. Still Tony Morley, always good for a point or two. Lobbed across towards the big man. He's got it too. Fed back to Finnerty, looking for another point. Fisted in again by Morley, and Shoblin took up a perfect position right on the goal line. Dramatic stuff down in front of the Donegal goal. And Liam McHale very much causing problems with his height. Now Maher driving it defiantly over the bar. Very good point indeed. The chance seemed to have gone, but Sean Maher from Clare Morris was up to punish the error. Very good passage of play there, Colm.
Yes, Mayo very much in control there for a couple of minutes and could have had a goal. At least they got a point out of it, and it won't do Sean Maher any harm because he's been substituted in most of the games in the Connacht Championship, and it'll be a boost in confidence for him.
Absolutely. In fact, there were questions about who would be TJ Kilgallen's partner. Many people thought it would be this fellow here, McHale again. And struggling there against the attentions of Matt Gallagher, but was he pushing? It's going to be a Donegal ball. Marr under it, and he's dropped it down, and it's neatly taken away by Joyce McMullen. McMullen showing pace there against Anthony McGarry. Now losing his way somewhat, needing support. A couple of options open to him. One of them was Martin McHugh. Tommy Ryan here. Fed across neatly towards Donal Reid. Well, after 4 players were involved in the build-up, you expected a better conclusion than that. Ball wasn't quite kept in play, despite the best efforts of Tony Boyle. 4 wides now for Donegal. Mayo yet to record a wide of their own. Peter Ford, the team captain here, pretty much leads by example, possessor of a fierce competitive instinct with a lot of pride and integrity as well.
I think that shows Donegal at their worst, passing the ball over and back across the pitch and making no progress at all. Sort of thing they want to avoid today.
Sean Maher explaining that he thought it was a fair shoulder. It's taken quickly inside to Brian Murray to complete the movement, and that's perhaps Donegal at their best, thinking quickly, and Brian Murray nipping in from midfield. Very good ally for Anthony Malloy, his first point of the day, and tying it up at 3 points apiece. He's a colleague indeed of the Mayo cornerback Dermot Flanagan, and their club football with civil service here in Dublin. So coming up to a quarter of an hour gone in the first half. Martin McHugh trying to wrestle his way clear. His jersey was being tugged. Tomas Tierney, I think, the one who has conceded the free. McHugh taking it rapidly to Tony Boyle. Again, taking up some good positions, getting there ahead of Peter Ford, and again Ford adjudged to have fouled the Donegal full forward. So further scoring chances for Declan Bonner. This is 4th kick. And that is 2nd point. 1 from a 45, 1 from the close-in free, and Donegal go in front. Well, it was Mayo who made the better start, 2 points ahead, but pegged back now. And finally the Ulster champions edging their noses ahead.
Quick taken by Martin McHugh too to pick out Tony Boyle, and Tony Boyle is the sort of full forward who takes on his man, and a lot of the time the full backs have no option but to foul him.
That's calmed down nicely. Tierney cross towards Liam McHale again. Nicely fed inside for Kevin Stone, and fumbled and allowed Gavigan to come in. Now supported by Donal Reid. Sean Maher. And that's toe poked away. And the decision goes Donegal's way. Martin McHugh, supposedly the man on the 40. Ooh, that was a high one to the face from TJ Kilgallen, and the referee just speaking to TJ. Not typical of the man by any manner of means. Well, Martin McHugh got a belt to the face at the start of the Ulster final as well, and you know what happened after that? He played a proverbial blinder. So it's Martin Gavigan knocking it down again to Tony Boyle. Again he gets away from Peter Ford. It's happening time and again. Trying to search out any lack of pace that Peter Ford may have. James McHugh solidly taken in there by Gabriel Irwin. Well supported by his defence. Poor ball away, but fumbled by Anthony Malloy. Fisted forward here nicely. Butler. McHale again, coming 45 yards out. high challenge to the face of Raymond Dempsey, and that's going to necessitate another booking. And Tommy Sugrue without much option. Matt Gallagher, the player he's called across. Dempsey seemed to have gone clear the first time, but couldn't avoid the second tackle. So it's 2 bookings apiece, 4 points to 3 in Donegal's favour, and a chance here for Mayo to tie up the match again. So TJ Kilgallen, Mayo's outstanding footballer of modern times, surely. Player who gave an outstanding display in the '88 semi-final against Meath, at the end of which he mysteriously was denied an All-Star. Well, that's life. That's fisted on, and it's stopped brilliantly, somehow, by superb reflexes from Gary Walsh. Simple, but so nearly very, very effective. Punted out by Noel Hegarty. Taken on again by Joyce McMullen. Near misses at either end. James McHugh just steadying himself. Well, he doesn't really need to run across the entire pitch. Got support here from Joyce McMullen, trying to make some headway. Referee says play on. Tomas Tierney there. There's a lot of pulling and dragging in the match now in the last 5 minutes. Free will be to Mayo, but at the other end from that very interesting free, McHale very nearly gave Mayo a goal chance.
A strange decision by Mayo with that free in which TJ Kilgallen. One would expect that Ray Dempsey would be taking the close in frees, but it nearly worked and given a goal to Mayo.
McGarry. Looking into space over the head of Martin Gavigan. Kevin Staunton going forward. Sean Maher now. Good ambitious kick. Well saved again by Gary Walsh. Or whether it was Gary Walsh at the post that denied Liam McHale, I'm not 100% sure. But the goalkeeper's positioning was faultless. Brian Murray getting themselves out of trouble with Barry McGowan now. Mysterious left out at the beginning of the Ulster final. Some very good performances on both sides so far. Tony Morley now doing a lot of work, taking out Sean Maher. Liam McHale playing anywhere but full forward just at the moment. Lobbed across towards Kevin Staunton, a very good footballer. Half blocked down. Clearly not exactly half, maybe just 1/8 block down, and not significant enough to make it a 45. It's Mayo's first wide of the match, and that after 20 minutes play.
TJ Kilgallen kicking the free in. Again, as I was saying, I thought Ray Dempsey would take those close in frees, but it was perfect for Liam McHale, who flicked it off the crossbar. Goalie probably would have stopped it if it was a bit lower, but let off for Donegal. But Donegal's tactics don't make any sense at all at the moment. They're over carrying the ball, overplaying it around midfield, especially as Tony Boyle has been beating Peter Ford inside. Martin McHugh has lain out very far and left a big space in front of Tony Boyle, but they're not playing the ball into him.
Indeed, so far Donegal with 11 shots on the Mayo goal and only 4 of them successful. Peter Butler happily recovered. Gary Walsh still with his goal intact. Mayo far more economical. We estimate they've had 7 shots on Gabriel Irwin's goal, and they have scored 3 of them. Anthony Malloy, some wrestling going on in there. He was taken to the ground. It's become a bit of a stop-start match. Sean Maher now with 3 personal fouls against his name, but no booking for all that. This is taken by Kevin Byrne, unable to make any headway because of the pressure applied by James McHugh. Donegal essentially now operating as they did in the Ulster final with a 2-man full forward line, Boner and Tony Boyle. That's an attempted catch by Anthony Malloy that fails to materialise. Once again, it's Kevin Staunton. Nicely fed forward for Raymond Dempsey. With the sort of left-footed kicker, but he can kick with both the left and the right. A very special kind of footballer. And so it's 4 points apiece once again.
Kevin Staunton doing well here, sells a dummy, a very unusual one, to himself and everybody else. Lays it off then well for Ray Dempsey, who of course has been scoring a lot for Mayo from full forward, and kicks a very good point off his left foot.
Ray Dempsey, who managed a goal and 15 points in the 4 matches of the Connacht Championship. That is first today. Anthony McGarry trying to make some headway against the persistence there of Tommy Ryan, who had a terrific second half against Derry in this year's Ulster final. So, Mayo with the free. Dropped in nicely. Oh, Matt Gallagher doing really well. Seemed to be unbalanced. McHale was getting in behind him, and somehow Gallagher found that extra half inch to tip the ball away. Down as far as Tony Boyle. A chance here as Sean Maher gets back, concedes the free. It was looking very dangerous indeed. Donegal with Boyle and Bonner just bearing down on Gabriel Irwin's goal. He's having a very good match, Tony Boyle. Hasn't scored, but he's contributed handsomely. Setting up a number of chances, this the latest. So James McHugh celebrating his second point and his side back in front again. Big leap in the air again by Sean Maher, but it's come down to Martin McHugh. By his own standards, he was very disappointing here in the semi-final 2 years ago. Bonner was surely wrestling there against Dermot Flanagan, and the referee gives it Mayo's way, quite correctly, I think. But just to return to Martin McHugh, he's anxious to make amends for the lapse 2 years ago when he was substituted for the first time ever in his Donegal career. So Gabriel Irwin with the free on the 20-metre line. Free's just a little bit livelier again at this point. Remember, favouring Donegal in this first half. 25 minutes gone. Peter Butler advancing. Very good left half back into space. And Kevin Staunton unable to judge it as accurately as Donald Reid. Matt Gallagher now getting himself out of trouble with the aid of Noel Hegarty. Taking the return there from Reid once again. And a very good Ulster final. Good corner-back play, making a lot of headway, winning the free, taking the pressure off his own defence. I'm sure the forwards would have expected the ball in a little bit earlier. But at least the pressure is back on the Mayo backs. Tomas Tierney there. And that a very fine run indeed by Noel Hegarty. So Bonner comes out to take this free for Donegal.
A very silly thing there by Tony Morley, kicked the ball away, and the referee has brought the ball on 10 yards, which should make it very much scoreable for Declan Bonner.
Taking maximum care over this one. Remember, Donegal leading by 5 points to 4. And about 9 minutes to go to half-time. The elements behind them, they need the chances, and he's missed it. A fifth wide for Donegal. 5 chances in all he's had in this opening half, and he's only been able to avail of 2 of those.
Come on, Donegal!
A very, very tight semi-final. Tommy Ryan into space, again aimed towards Tony Boyle. Time and again he's getting there first to the ball, but he has yet to get his first point. And usually he was setting stuff up for other players about him. Not just his first shot on target. Liam McHale has now come out into the middle of the field, and Barry McGowan has gone out there to mark him. That's McHale. Nicely fed offside there towards Peter Butler. Maher now. Challenged quite unfairly by Anthony Malloy, the Donegal captain. Free quickly taken by Sean Maher in towards Raymond Dempsey. Can't control it, but Morley is there for Mayo. Trying to make some ground. Put the head down. He was fouled as he was advancing. So about 22 metres out, it's going to be a Mayo free. Tony Morley, who was the full forward last year in the Connacht campaign for Mayo. So Raymond Dempsey lobbing it high, and he's put it over the bar. Sides level once again. A second point for Raymond Dempsey. Dempsey continuing to be top of the right. Essentially it's Dempsey and Anthony Finnerty up front at the moment. Kevin Staunton has drifted back a bit alongside Morley and Jennings, and McHale is in midfield. So three in midfield right now, and one of the trio, TJ Kilgallen, coming away with possession. Lobbed beautifully in. Jarlath Jennings, if he gets the fist to it, but there's good covering. Excellent covering back there again by Matt Gallagher. Tommy Ryan now. That's blocked down splendidly by Raymond Dempsey. Two players to hit it into. Jennings, supported by McGarry. High one to the face there. The elbow of Noel Hegarty making contact. And the referee says free in. I don't think Noel Hegarty can have too many arguments about that. So once again, the left boot of Jarlath Jennings to try and put Mayo in front. Second point from a free by Jarlath Jennings. Two chances, 2 points, and Mayo edge back ahead again. A typical All-Ireland semi-final, two very evenly matched teams, tense and intense, and plenty for the fans to cheer about.
The Mayo style of play is much more straightforward than Donegal, and it's paying dividends at the moment, but the Donegal backs have been a bit indisciplined in their tackling and given a couple of silly frees away.
Jarlath Jennings has it again, fed inside towards TJ Kilgallen, and that time the referee says it wasn't a fair shoulder once again by Tommy Ryan. Anthony McGarry just encouraging some of the Mayo players to keep it nice and cool. They'll have the wind at their backs for the second half. Fourth personal foul there by Tommy Ryan. That's picked up at the back there by Barry McGowan. Anthony Malloy trying to make some headway. Really having problems with that left knee, which has plagued his career over the last number of years. So Donegal with the free. Malloy making his way back into midfield. Matt Gallagher to strike it. Over the head, that time of Tony Boyle, on towards Bonner. Surrounded by Mayo defenders. James McHugh feeding it outside again. Donald Reid, can he make amends for one or two that went astray earlier on? Not quite. It remains Mayo 6 points, Donegal 5. 4 minutes to go to half time.
A good move by Mayo at the back has put Dermot Flanagan on Tony Boyle and Peter Ford to left full back on Declan Bonner, and I'm sure that'll help the defence.
Dermot Flanagan had a very good campaign this year in the Connacht Championship. Produced the goods when it mattered most. Brian Murray back again to Donald Reid. For a Donegal side that has hit 7 wide so far against just 1 from Mayo. Nicely inside to Anthony Malloy. Can they get something here? No, another chance going astray. Anthony Malloy taking up a splendid position, top of the right, stealing in from midfield. But Mayo continuing to lead by a point.
Well, Anthony Malloy there getting into a great position. They had lost Sean Maher. Thought about passing across to Tony Boyle, probably should have, and then when he went to shoot he was well covered by Dermot Flanagan and kicks a very bad wide. But Anthony Malloy's handling of the ball today has been very poor. Usually he's a very, very sound fielder, and he's getting his hands on a lot of balls but letting a lot of them drop.
Mayo taking their chances. 6 out of 10 so far, 5 out of 16 for Donegal. Revealing statistics from a first half. 3 minutes remaining now. Jarlath Jennings just holding up the point of the attack, tending to link up with Anthony Finnerty. McGarry, secure handling, trying to go forward. Stopped there by Tommy Ryan, supported in there by Martin McHugh. Matt Gallagher, the one with the pick-up. It away to Brian Murray, taking the pressure off a beleaguered Donegal defence. It hasn't been a good first half overall for Donegal. They've had a lot of chances. Tony Boyle, as a county tries to get to the All-Ireland final for the first time ever. James McHugh, it's stopped in there by Gabriel Irwin. So many chances. Tomas Tierney now, holder of 6 Connacht medals, 5 of those with Galway, of course. Nicely on by Dempsey. Was there a foul? The referee blows the whistle for that challenge there by Noel Hegarty, which is penalised. Matt Gallagher making his way back in to take up station on Anthony Finnerty. So overall, Colm, as we approach half-time, just about 2 minutes away, do you think the Mayo lads will be that bit happier about their performance?
There's no doubt about it. Mayo will be very happy going in at half-time. Again, having played against a stiff breeze and very much in contention. Their style of play has suited. They've kicked the ball forward to Liam McHale and everybody else in the full forward line whenever the opportunity arose. Whereas Donegal have been obsessed with short passing. A lot of the movements have broken down through sheer over elaboration, and also their shooting has been very poor. But Mayo have looked the better team for most of the first half.
So it's Raymond Dempsey kicking to the left, just a second wide. So now we head just about inside the last minute. 6 points to 5 in Mayo's favour. Chance of Mayo, and the Donegal fans responding. Anthony Malloy, appreciating that they're very much still in this match in spite of their poor first half performance. Trying to draw level now before half time. James McHugh that time fairly well clattered. James McHugh, the younger brother of Martin. So the chance then with, on my watch at least, about 20 seconds remaining in this first half.
James McHugh there taking advantage of the break off Tony Boyle and Tomas Tierney. Bad tackle from him and a bad position to be given away a free.
So the left foot of Declan Bonner getting his 3rd point right on the call of half time to tie up the scores. Donegal 6, Mayo 6 in this first of the All-Ireland football semi-finals.
That point came about from Gary Walsh, who kicked the ball out in Anthony Malloy's direction. Generally he's been playing to the opposite side of the field, which is strange, with Malloy one of the better midfielders in the country.
Well, he'll have to produce a great deal more in the second half. It'll be Mayo who'll have the elements at their backs for the second 35 minutes. Their more direct approach to the game has left them very much in the hunt for another All-Ireland final place. Half-time score, Donegal 6 points, Mayo 6.
Well, Donegal have a man in the main stand on a walkie-talkie who's advising the mentors about the progress of the game and the tactical manoeuvres. Everybody in the ground could tell the mentors, I think, at this stage, the number of wides that Donegal have been hitting. Have they thrown this game away to Mayo, given the fact that Mayo will play with that fresh breeze in the second half? We will discuss the first half with our panel. That's after the commercial break. Join us for that.
Birdseye challenged me to make France's famous chicken chasseur even better by making it a healthy option. Take the leanest chicken, no need for this, lemon, some onions, without butter, it's a low-fat sauce, and tomatoes. All cooked in a little wine. Now the real challenge for Birdseye healthy options, the locals. Birdseye healthy options, the best food made better for you.
Levafas is a proven drench for fluke and worms in sheep and cattle. Choose economic fluke and worm control with Levafas, a quality Norbrook product.
I said, hey, I'm feeling so hot, but I don't want to cool down. Dancing to the music, can keep my feet on the ground. Something's got a hold and won't let go. Sending chills right through my soul. It's the feeling you get from a Coca-Cola. Can't beat the feeling.
Power Stick, the new wide stick from Sure, contains a deodorant which actually responds to changes in body heat. The harder you work, the harder it works. Whatever your day demands. New Sure Power Stick. Power protection on demand.
Students, Bruce College is now enrolling for its prestigious Leaving Certificate and third level courses. Contact Bruce College at Dublin, Cork or Limerick.
3 out of 4 Irish people don't eat enough fibre. Fact. So, it's worth knowing that you can get all the fibre you'd find in 9 nutritious carrots in just a single bowl of Kellogg's All Bran. Kellogg's All Bran, a great fibre provider.
Welcome back again. So at half-time between Mayo and Donegal in this first All-Ireland semi-final, it's 6 points apiece, but I think having watched that first 35 minutes with Pat Spillane here, we would have to agree that Mayo had by far the better of the exchanges. Overall a scrappy game, I think, Pat, though. It's been a very disappointing first half, Joe. No pattern has developed in the game. It's certainly not free-flowing. There are too many frees being conceded by both sides. A lot of very dangerous play, a lot of very head-high tackles, and an awful lot of frees off the ball, a lot of pulling off the ball, which I noticed how the linesmen and umpires haven't brought it to the ref's attention. So overall, a very, very poor game so far. Donegal will look at the situation now at half-time, realise that they've kicked 8 wides in that first half against 2 for Mayo, and the significance of that, I suppose, is the fact that Mayo will play with a breeze now in the second half. Well, I don't think the breeze is going to have a big bearing on this game, in the sense that Donegal's short passing game is not going to be affected by the wind. Wind doesn't affect the short passing game. Donegal's short passing game, of course, is dreadful in that first 35 minutes. How it takes 4 or 5 passes to get the ball to reach the 50-yard line is awful. And Donegal are a small side physically, and they need, once the forwards make a run, they need the ball to be delivered immediately. It's not being given, and it's being delayed. The passes are too close, and when he gets possession, he's surrounded by Mayo defenders. They'll have to alternate and play a little bit more long ball, 30-40 yard passes. Tony Boyle, they've played a couple of long balls to him in the latter part of the first half, and it was proving a little bit more successful. Well, Mayo, for their part, on the other hand, Pat, played a far more direct game, as you said, and particularly Anthony Finnerty, who scored their first point, which was the one that, if you like, settled them down. And Mayo got the first 2 scores of the game, which, with the big support they have here today, certainly gave them the confidence at the beginning of this match. Yes, certainly Mayo got the start that Donegal wanted. I think Donegal would have been the more nervous team coming into this side, and Anthony Finnerty set Mayo off with a nice score. The goal, had a goaling chance, I suppose, Mayo as well. It was a dreadful free by TJ Kilgannon. I don't think perhaps it was ever looked likely to be going for a goal. I think Gary Walsh had it covered anyway. Well, he had, but having said that, and just looked at it again there, past Walsh just fingertipped it or fisted it perhaps up onto the crossbar, so it wasn't that far away. Perhaps. I think question marks have to be put at the Mayo management in that, because to allow... Let's look at it again. Well, first of all, to allow TJ Kilgannon, who is not, certainly not one of their recognised free takers, to kick it. This was a good half chance for Lee McKean. You would also question
the decision to leave Liam McHale in at full forward for the first 25 minutes. If you've got a tall guy, 6'4", 6'5", one of the best midfielders in the country, you certainly don't play him in at full forward against the wind. Certainly with the wind you'd use him, but against the wind he was certainly not utilised at all.
Well, there we're having a look at a Donegal point at the other end, one of the few that actually went over the bar for him. But to pick up the point you were making, a lot of people were surprised by the fact that McHale was played, given the fact that they played against the breeze in the first half, that he was played in at full forward.
It was, of course, it was a dreadful tactical blunder by the Mayo management. And like I said, in the last 10 minutes when he was brought out midfield, Mayo started dominating. Donegal's missed chances were awful. There was two chances in particular by Joyce McMullen and Anthony Malloy inside the 14-yard line where they should have just simply punched the ball over the bar. If they're going to miss like that in the second half, they're not going to have a chance.
Well, Pat, I'm sure there's plenty of talk going on in both dressing rooms at half-time about what has taken place so far. We're going to take a commercial break. Join us for the second half right after that.
Red wine, tea, strawberry. When it's raining stains, look for a washing powder that's not just concentrated, but super concentrated. New Surf Micro Plus. Squaring up to really stubborn stains. New Surf Micro Plus. You won't get better value from a concentrate.
McGreevy's Westport are more than newsagents and food store. There's McGreevy's Super Toys, Cards and Bookshop, with everything from stationery and fancy goods to auctioneering and valuing. McGreevy's Westport.
Levafas is a proven drench for fluke and worms in sheep and cattle. Choose economic fluke and worm control with Levafas, a quality Norbrook product.
Summer, 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 summertime. Hey, here comes the summer sun shining down on me. Ice cold Coke and summer fun, that's where I wanna be. Dancing to a different beat, red hot music on the street. Summertime. Can't beat the real thing. Summertime. It's cold to color time. You can't beat the feeling.
Starting with next Saturday's lotto draw, there will be 3 more numbers to play and a new way to win.
What a little lotto can do for you.
Morning, Marlene. Kellogg's bran flakes, please.
New trainers, Vince?
Yeah, I'm taking a few small steps to change my lifestyle.
So you started running?
No, but I'm thinking about it.
So how have you changed your lifestyle then?
Kellogg's bran flakes. They're low in fat and high in fibre, which is part of my healthier lifestyle. And they taste good.
So basically, your new lifestyle is eating Kellogg's bran flakes while wearing trainers?
Well, it's a start.
Kellogg's bran flakes, a step in the right direction.
Welcome back again. So Donegal come back out onto the field for the second half of this All-Ireland semi-final against Mayo. It's 6 points each at half-time. If you were listening to our discussion before the commercial break, I suppose you might be forgiven for thinking that we were talking about Donegal being 6 points down. But I think the point that we're making, Pat Spillane, is that if Donegal had taken their chances, they'd be 6 points up.
They should have. I mean, 8 wides as opposed to Mayo's 2. Certainly Donegal should be 3 or 4 points up. This particular one this miss by, I think it was Anthony Malloy, was a dreadful
this was
miss.
Tony Boyle, the full forward, sending it in.
Sorry, Tony Boyle, that one.
An easy point chance there.
It was indeed.
Well, here come Mayo then. And although it's all square at half-time, well, they won't, I suppose, Pat, be feeling too comfortable about things because there's 35 minutes of football ahead of them and it could really go anyway, to be honest.
It could indeed, and having been slightly the more dominant team in that half, they probably should have been leading, and instead Donegal having played poorly. It's level and it's still anyone's game, and I don't think the wind, like I say, is going to have a major bearing on it.
Well, I suppose a lot that will be interesting looking forward to the second half will be the configuration of the two sides and how they deal with each other, if you like, after that first 35 minutes of football.
Well, certainly in the first half the defence is dominated. When you see the likes of Tommy Ryan there, who is the leading scorer for Donegal, he didn't get a ball today. I think he got one kick in the first half. So they'll be looking for, both sides will be looking for improved displays from their respective forward lines, and especially with, in the case of Donegal, who've had a lot more possession and have not been able to utilise it.
All right, Pat, well, your fellow countryman Tommy Sugru is waiting to start the second half. So let us go back to our commentary team then of Colm O'Rourke and Ger Canning.
That's the indication of the breeze that you were speaking of just a little while ago. It's reasonably lively, and it's turned around a bit also now, blowing more towards the city, in fact. Donegal with a change in their forward line, the positional switch. James McHugh is now right half forward, and it's Tommy Ryan who is top of the left, and Donegal taking possession instantly. Brian Murray straight through the centre towards Tony Boyle, again seeking to turn. Peter Ford, who's back on the marking duties on Tony Boyle once more, and Donegal then with this chance of going in front. Boyle doing his job well.
That's a bad decision, I think, by the Mayo management. They should have left Dermot Flanagan on Tony Boyle, because Dermot Flanagan is a much closer marker.
Hit in by James McHugh, his first miss of the day. 2 points to his credit so far. It remains 6 points apiece. Fisted down by Brian Murray towards Joyce McMullen, beaten for it however by Tomas Tierney. And Gallagher again getting miles ahead, it seems, proverbially miles ahead against Liam McHale. Martin McHugh continuing to roam around, taken down by Jarlath Jennings. Declan Bonner against Dermot Flanagan, trying to turn him inside and out. Feeding it into the corner to Tommy Ryan. Support if he needs it from Martin McHugh, coming through the centre. Looking for the point, the scoring chance here. Excellent catch that time by TJ Kilgallen. Reads the game so intelligently. Took up a very good position. I mean, covered back so much ground. Quickly taken inside to Anthony Malloy, still striving to find his best form in this match. Donald Reid. That's blocked down by Sean Maher. Reid once again. Barry McGowan now. Closed down by Maher, but transferred to Martin McHugh. And the fisted challenge, which was quite unfair by Tomas Tierney, will result in a Donegal free kick. It's going to be Martin McHugh who will take the free. Number 6 points each. Again it goes outside. Donegal's second wide of the second half, a 10th in all. Very wasteful indeed, and Martin will be the first to appreciate that. The Donegal side very well supported in Croke Park this afternoon, and among the supporters watching at home, and indeed in many parts of the globe, hoping for success. McHugh again. Coming on the drive, thought about turning inside onto the right boot, and again it's gone wide. Well, there will be so many disappointed Donegal supporters. McHugh with 4 opportunities so far, he has yet to score.
Martin McHugh with a couple of bad misses already in this half. Of course, he was pushed onto his weaker foot there by the Mayo backs, and he's not quite as accurate with his right foot as left, but bad miss nonetheless.
Brian Murray fisting it up in the air, but he was climbing up onto the back of TJ Kilgallen. Judged well by Donald Reid. Players calling for it just in front of him, opting to punt it inside. But Dermot Flanagan slightly wrong-footed, going back well, needing a bit of support from Kevin Byrne. Dermot Flanagan again. Nicely out of trouble, Peter Butler. That's Finnerty now. A very purposeful Mayo side. And nipping in with a great deal more purpose for Donegal is Martin Shovlin. Shove himself, pushing on to Tommy Ryan. To get on the trusty left boot. Good work by Kevin Byrne, appreciating that he's best on the left and holding him out there rather harmlessly. Peter Ford. Sideline ball for Donegal.
Tommy Ryan there showing that in most cases left-footed players shouldn't be on the left wing because they usually run into the corner. He's done that on 2 occasions.
Peter Butler getting out first time to the ball again, playing a very steady match. Martin Gavigan trying to judge the ball. Liam McHale now out on the 40, tipping it nicely away to Jarlath Jennings for Mayo. On to Morley, through the cover, Tony Morley for Mayo. It's off the post and it's back down again. A let off for Donegal. The best attack of the second half. May come good yet. Stopped again by Gary Walsh. Kevin Staunton, who had moved into the fringe of the large rectangle. Walsh injured, and likewise Raymond Dempsey.
Tony Morley here bursting through a tackle like a lot of the Donegal forwards are not doing and or should be doing, and probably not a good goal chance, but he should have stuck that one over the bar, and Mayo have lost a very good chance.
Well, they'll be careful to make sure that they don't lose their number 13, Raymond Dempsey. Jim Broderick and Tommy O'Malley out there attending, along with the John's ambulance man. Raymond Dempsey has 2 points so far. Gary Walsh from the Burren club saved a penalty, I seem to remember, against Meath in Donegal's last semi-final appearance here 2 years ago. Player who had a most consistent Ulster campaign. Now Donegal considering preparing a substitute. Remember, you heard Jim Carney say earlier on that they hadn't got a substitute goalkeeper. Paul Callan. Callahan is the player warming up over there, but he's not needed just now, and Gary Walsh can take his time about this kick out. And finally a substitute being made. Seems to be Manus Boyle who is coming in, a player who has had a great career with Donegal underage teams. So Manus Boyle from Killybegs, the player who makes his way in, and it is Joyce McMullen who goes off. Joyce, who didn't have the best of fortunes today. His brother Jerry, I know, in St James's Hospital was wishing him well, and indeed Jerry is wished well by so many of the Donegal players here, but right now having to give way to Liam McHale and to Mayo. Sean Maher continuing to forage down that right hand side. Nicely forward from McHale again. The Giant striding forward, nonchalantly kicking, and he puts it over the bar. McHale combining smartly there with Sean Maher to set up that chance and give Mayo the lead. First point of the second half has taken nearly 8 minutes to produce.
Sean Maher doing very well there from Mayo and finding Liam McHale, who's better suited by his move out the field. Brian Murray should have cut him off there, and a very bad angle, but it was a lovely chip over the bar by McHale.
Yes, he showed very fine skills indeed. Likewise Peter Butler on towards Jarlath Jennings. And Martin Shovlin really powerless to deny Jennings. Well, that's the poorer side of McHale. Just a little bit of subtlety letting him down. But now out around the middle of the field, where he can exert a far greater influence, and marked the whole time by Martin Gavigan. Now Martin Shovlin driving it in. Byrne was under it with Peter Ford in between them. They've left it behind, and Tony Boyle taking it on from that tip on by Manus Boyle. And Tony Boyle just holding possession. Anthony McGarry conceding the free. So a chance now to tie up the match here.
Mistake by Peter Ford, knocking the ball out of his own man's hands there. Probably should have stayed off, and the break came down to Tony Boyle.
It's off the post from Manus Boyle. Well, the substitute with his first chance. Now it's back with James McHugh. 7 points to 6. And Gabriel Irwin doing well. The confidence to link up then with Dermot Flanagan. Out into the centre towards Liam McHale. Didn't even have to jump for that one. The basketball star down towards Raymond Dempsey, protesting that he was being pushed. Referee says yes. Whistle has sounded, I think. He's going on, but it's not going to count. Dempsey was clearly held back that time, but what a terrific catch in the middle of the field by Liam McHale, who's doing so much better out around the wider pastures. So much space to manoeuvre around midfield here at Croke Park.
Brilliant fielding by Liam McHale. Martin Gavigan, of course, a lot smaller than, and drives the ball in. Donegal could learn from the Mayo tactics. Two kicks has got the ball right down to the other end of the field. I think it was a very harsh decision on Noel Hegarty. If anything, it was a free out for Donegal.
Well, they've gained by it all as Mayo now push themselves into a 2-point lead. Jennings with 3 points in all of them from frees. And just 3 chances in all, so he's taken 100% of his chances. So now it's the turn of the many, many Mayo fans here. Proud champions of Connacht, seeking to get back into an All-Ireland final for the first time since 1989. Peter Ford now back doing a piece of defending against Tony Boyle. Boyle pressurising constantly and fouling his man indeed.
Mayo obviously have a specific policy of kicking all the frees in their backline from the ground, because very few players are using the free from the hand at all today.
On towards Sean Maher in midfield, and Liam McHale. Can he be the dominant factor yet? Ray Dempsey again held back by Noel Hegarty. Into space, covered off expertly there by Donal Reid. Now Matt Gallagher back to Reid again. Brian Murray calling for the ball on the left-hand side. Flicked into the middle. That's Hegarty given an advantage, but not the second time, and it really is hardly doing Gaelic football a disservice, all this pulling and dragging. The referee trying to allow some continuity and wanting the frees taken quickly. Again, the jersey's been tugged and pulled, and it's McGowan going forward. Irwin comfortably under it, making sure that it went harmlessly to the left and wide. A 12th wide for Donegal, only 2 wides in all for Mayo. They've yet to hit one in the second half. That was Barry McGowan from Macalabioga. Mayo leading by 2 points. Over 12 and a half minutes gone in the second half. Anthony Malloy down as far as his partner in midfield. Brian Murray punted in towards Bonner, comes off him, but again it's Peter Butler reading the game so expertly. To Tony Morley, who saw that shot come thundering off the post about 5 minutes ago. Getting by Donal Reid almost disdainfully. Shoulder coming in from Gavigan, and it's still Morley. Now how can he complete this? Dempsey calling for it. 3 men surrounding him, trying to funnel the ball outside to McHale. Ball touched on the ground, and it all comes to naught. All the hard work. Been a bit of fun and games back there with Matt Gallagher and Morley involved. Almost playing leapfrog. Anthony Malloy getting the support there from Matt Gallagher. Not the tallest of full-backs, but an effective one nonetheless. James McHugh, his side trailing by 2 points. Is it to be another disappointing day for Donegal? Not if Martin McHugh has his way. Manus Boyle comes down. Flanagan fisting it away, but only as far as Boyle again. This is a chance. Donegal's first point of the second half, scored by Tony Boyle. So 1 between them. A well-taken score.
Donegal need a little bit of leadership at the moment, and Anthony Malloy and Martin McHugh both very much involved in that movement. Donegal need to get the ball forward faster to Tony Boyle. A very good point off his left foot, and Donegal still very much in the hunt, especially if they change their tactics slightly.
Pat Holmes has just come in for Mayo, and he has replaced Anthony Finnerty. And I also see Tommy Ryan going off the Donegal team. We'll check on his replacement very shortly. Now Martin McHugh. Barry Cunningham may be the one who's come in. There he is in the action straight away with Manus Boyle. Still a point behind. Good goalkeeping there by Gabriel Irwin, standing his ground. It's going to be a very, very tense last 20 minutes. So little between the teams. Referee has whistled again. Another Donegal free for some holding. And you'll gather that decision not meeting with the unanimous approval of the following here from Mayo. Gavigan punting it forward. Out again by Peter Butler. Defiant as ever. Now Martin McHugh nipping in, needing support, getting it in there again from Cunningham. Slightly better one this time. Irwin again showing a very, very clean catch. Butler. All a bit hurried and rushed just at the moment.
Nothing worse from a Donegal point of view than kicking the ball into the goalie, and they've done that now on 2 occasions. Players trying to kick points from very bad angles on the left-hand side of the pitch and dropping them short and allowing Gabriel Irwin to set up an attack.
Well, that's gone wide. So Donegal with a whole succession of wides. 5 so far in the second half, 13 in all. Peter Butler here, however, still as defiant as ever on the half-back line for Mayo, one of the best on view. Mayo would seem to have introduced Noel Durkin as well at top of the left in the last couple of minutes. So changes all around the place in an effort to try and get that elusive place in the All-Ireland final in 5 weeks' time. Martin McHugh outside again towards Cunningham. Barry Cunningham going forward. Closed down momentarily by Jarlath Jennings. Now it's Shovelin coming into the clear. And he's ballooned it to the left and he's put it wide. Well, there are so many chances going Donegal's way, and this man up here in the stands, really, he's got words to say to his team. Won't exactly blame him either. It's going to be an awful long journey back to the northwest if they fail to come out victorious.
Again, that ball should have been put into the middle. There's a lot of Donegal players waiting for it. Left-footed players kicking from the left wing. Very difficult to score.
Finger-tipped, but it's picked up again by Martin McHugh. Inside to Tony Boyle. Oh, a high challenge once more by Peter Ford, and that's not the first time we've seen high challenges in this match. But Peter Ford is penalised by Tommy Sugrue, having to give away second best really to Tony Boyle in this game. 3 personal fouls we make it against Peter Ford so far today.
Anthony Malloy and Martin McHugh now beginning to have a bigger impact on the game, just when Donegal need them. And if they give the ball to Tony Boyle, he's attacking his man and he will get frees. But again, decision of the Mayo backroom team to leave Peter Ford at full back and not put in Dermot Flanagan there is hard to understand.
Well, they made the switch and now they switch back again, and now they watch Manus Boyle kick his side level with Mayo at 8 points apiece. Delighted Donegal followers. Manus Boyle, a player who many people have been longing to see burst through into the senior ranks with some degree of consistency. Is this to be his day, his platform? Well, they've made a complete recovery now, Donegal. Donald Reid. Kevin Staunton, the number 11 for Mayo. So what will be their response? Sean Maher has gone up into the attack, in at full forward at the moment on Matt Gallagher. But Gallagher has been the master of so many situations this afternoon. That looks to be Barry McGowan there. Very much coming off second best in that challenge. On my watch, just about 16 minutes to go. Kevin Staunton, it would appear, has come into midfield where he's marking Anthony Malloy just now. Noel Durkin, who was hardly fully fit, and if he wasn't fit to start this match, well, it's a bit of a gamble bringing him in at this stage by the Mayo selectors. Ball touched on the ground by Tomas Tierney, and that means another Donegal free. So Declan Bonner, 3 points so far from 6 attempts. And the big cheer you hear in the background is as Mayo introduce another substitute, and it's Pádraig Brogan is coming in. Pádraig Brogan, who played with Donegal for the last couple of seasons. Earlier on in this year, he reverted back to his home club, now playing against his former colleagues, but for his native county. Can he be the big difference yet?
A lot of pressure on Pádraig Brogan coming into this game. Not too popular with the Donegal fans and management and team after the change back to Mayo, and it'll be a big test for him to see if he can produce the goods under such pressure.
Sean Maher is the one who is substituted, so Brogan goes in. He's playing in a full forward role, slightly to the left of the full forward. It's Dempsey and Brogan up front. Nicely caught there, under some pressure by Barry Cunningham, having the presence of mind to link up here with Anthony Malloy. Donegal 8 points, Mayo 8 points. Donegal with the free. They've had the Lions' share of the chances, no question about that. On Farbiog taking the free. In towards Declan Bonner. Dermot Flanagan, the number 4 for Mayo, putting in that despairing challenge. Back to Manus Boyle. Now James McHugh. Trying to go the Modiruk towards the Mayo goal. Still making some ground. Taken down. Liam McHale, the player, who brings him down. Delighted Donegal fans, hoping that their side can edge back ahead once more.
James McHugh did very well for Donegal there. He seemed as if he had lost possession, but it only served to unhinge the defence, and gets by Anthony McGarry. Liam McHale trying to cover back and fouls him. The best chance for Donegal of getting scores are from free, so their forward should be taking on their men at every opportunity.
A key point indeed, Colm. So it's up to Manus Boyle now. And Donegal go back in front by 9 points to 8. 9 points out of 29 chances against 8 points for Mayo out of 15 chances. Is it to be their day at last? Mayo will have something to say about that. 12 and a half minutes to go. A Donegal side, champions of Ulster for the 5th time, beaten in their 4 previous semi-finals. Well, they've got the incentive, they've got the lead. Can they make it to All-Ireland final day proper for the very first time? McGarry, the player who commits the foul. No particular hurry now for Martin McHugh. Nice little ball forward for Bonner. Using up some possession and some seconds again now. Murray. It's possession football until McHugh kicks it inside, but there's nobody in there at all except Kevin Staunton. Nobody to put in a challenge. That's Noel Durkin. So often a hero in the pass for this Mayo team. Tony Morley. And Brogan was being held that time, in my view, by Noel Hegarty, but the referee allowed play to continue. Perhaps he didn't see it. It's McHugh. Nicely on for Hegarty. Blocked down superbly by Kevin Byrne. Didn't know where it quite went, but he did the needful. Back to Martin McHugh. Second phase play, and he has put it wide. Martin McHugh with 6 chances so far in this game to have scored a point, and he has yet to get one. That's the Donegal dugout there, and you can see they're not all that terribly pleased with themselves. Tommy Ryan here in the bottom right-hand corner, substituted earlier on. And you can be sure that Brian McAniff is probably living on his nerves. Likewise, the other Brian, the team manager for Mayo, of course, Brian MacDonald. Runs on just about enough to Murray. To Bonner. In the clear now. Bonner with the chance, and he's hit it. But he's put it to the left and wide, and the referee has decided that he was impeded just outside the large rectangle, and it's going to be a free in for Donegal.
Brian Murray does very well here, gets possession, sees Declan Bonner and gives it through to him. Declan Bonner gets 2 chances because he gets a free out of this. I don't know, I think the referee should have left him go because he had his chance of taking his point and missed it, and I think he's very fortunate now to get a free in.
Yes, so often in the past referees allow the advantage. Once it happens, you can't really get the second chance. Dermot Flanagan, the player who is in need of some attention, it seems. And Seamus Bonner, the player who did all the spade work there, the grafting, and in the end wins himself the free. Dermot Flanagan may require attention. Game is held up momentarily. Just checking there, Jim Broderick with a word with Dermot Flanagan. So back on the goal line. Donegal 9 points, Mayo 8. And that is Brian MacDonald there, former Dublin star, of course, played in the 1963 All-Ireland final for the Dubs against Galway alongside Mickey Whelan in the half-forward line. Watching now as Bonner making the most of his chance. A chance he might not have got, but the referee had whistled up, and now Donegal lead by 2. 8.5 minutes to go. So Mayo now having a giant-sized task on their hands. We haven't had a goal so far in the match. What an opportune time this would be, and surely it would seal it one way or the other. McHale again. Again Brogan being pushed around back there. That's fisted back by Shovlin. Matt Gallagher now. Oh, he's tackled very, very harshly indeed by Brogan. Exacting a bit of retribution, I think, for some of the holding offences earlier on against himself. And he's going to be booked. So Pádraig Brogan, the player who's having the name taken, and Matt Gallagher, the one who is down on the deck. It's been a checkered couple of years this for Pádraig Brogan. He escapes with a booking for that. And the Donegal.
Well, Pádraig Brogan himself seemed to be fouled while that ball was coming in, and exacts his own retribution on Matt Gallagher. There seems to be no love lost between Pádraig Brogan and any of the Donegal players, judging by the fact that the tackles are going in thick and fast on Brogan on and off the ball, and as well as that there seems to be a lot of chat between the players on the field.
Well, I'm sure they'll be the best of pals afterwards, but it's going to make for a fascinating last 7 minutes. A very rough and ready kind of semi-final, but at this very raw state of the contest, who is it to be? Gavigan belting it forward towards Tony Boyle, couldn't hold on to it. It's Tomas Tierney instead for Mayo. Kevin Staunton now inside towards Liam McHale. Can the big man engineer another score? Mayo haven't scored for quite a long time. Down towards Ray Dempsey, trying to steal inside Matt Gallagher, who fingertipped it out for a 45. So the first 45. Remember, 10 points to 8 in Donegal's favour. Jarlath Jennings to take this one with over 6 minutes to go. Breeze blowing over his left shoulder right now. The elements in his favour. Can he find the range? He's booted it wide. Mayo's first wide of the second half. Mayo with only 2 points to show for the previous 29 minutes of this half, against 4 for Donegal. Well, the Donegal fans must be wondering what would be between the teams at this stage had their side even taken a half-decent share of the chances they created. Anthony Malloy. Belted forward towards Tony Boyle, stopped somehow. Picked up again by Martin McHugh. Brian Murray is there to aim out on his left-hand side. Still McHugh trying to turn on the style now here. Nice ball inside towards Barry Cunningham. Some 13 metres out, denied splendidly by Peter Ford, taken out again by Kevin Staunton. Held up and a free to Mayo. No time to delay now. 5 minutes to go. It's McHale bursting forward. The challenge from James McHugh and Far Moorluggers and Far Biog. 2 points between them. Durkin steadying himself. Well, not suiting a right-footed or left-footed player as he got it on the right boot that time. And it's back out with James McHugh again. The more convincing finish now being put in by Tyrconnell. Cunningham once more. Going to ground, he seemed to be almost stumbling indeed before the challenge ever came in from Peter Butler. But it's going to be a free to Donegal and a chance for Manus Boyle here to tag on another score. Manus Boyle with 2 points since he came in. They needed a very assured kicker. 2 points from 3, his tally so far. Now 3 points out of 4 chances. And the gap widens and it looks particularly good for Donegal. Donegal 11 points, Mayo 8, and as you see, 4 minutes to go. Well, you weren't giving too much for their chances, and I don't think anybody else was either at half-time, after they'd been so profligate. But in the second half, they've stuck with the task. McHale now, down towards Raymond Dempsey. Mayo needing a goal. TJ Kilgallen, is he to be denied of another place in an All-Ireland final? An elbow by Noel Hegarty, giving Mayo the free, just inside the 20-metre line. Referee checking on the watch, we'll do likewise. I make it 3.5 minutes to go. 11 points for Donegal, 8 for Mayo. Kilgallen's fine run, producing this free for Jarlath Jennings. 3 points so far in the game. Will he be content to tap it over with time remaining? He is. So he narrows it to a mere 2-point difference. 4 points for Jennings out of 5 shots. It's still there for the taking. A Mayo goal could send them on their way to the All-Ireland final.
Still time for Mayo to get a couple of points to draw it, but they have lost their shape a bit on the pitch and they seem to be badly disorganised. So unless Donegal completely self-destruct, they should hang on and win this.
Gary Walsh kicking to the left. Picked up here by Tomas Tierney. They need another score now badly, Mayo. Trying to round Barry Cunningham. Belted across. Cut out brilliantly by Martin Gavigan. On towards Anthony Malloy, the team captain, crossing the 65-metre line. Down towards Tony Boyle. Boyle trying to sneak inside the cover of Peter Ford. Still Tony Boyle going for a score, and he's put it over the bar, and that may well be the point that will take Donegal finally through to their first ever All-Ireland final. 12-9 and only 2 minutes remaining. Delighted Donegal followers. They've followed their team everywhere and anywhere for the last number of years. So with 3 points the margin, is that sufficient? Flanagan with the free kick. The side have been in tight situations in the past, and this is a particularly tight one. Matt Gallagher standing his ground well. Now Barry McGowan. He's lost it to Tony Morley. Just trying to hold up the point of the attack there around 45 metres out from the Donegal goal. Gavigan again, fisting it outside to Anthony Malloy. On again it goes. And it's Noel Hegarty again coming forward from left corner back. On towards Manus Boyle, trying to get inside there. The goalkeeper again doing well, reading the intentions expertly, and Gabriel Irwin making the hand pass clearance. Flanagan now. 1 minute and 5 seconds to go. 1 minute and 5 seconds between Donegal and their first ever appearance in an All-Ireland final. That's James McHugh back there, playing almost as a sweeper. McGowan, and already Donegal supporters celebrating. Donegal beaten in the past at the semi-final stage by Offaly, twice by Galway, by Meath most recently in 1990. But are they to finally bridge that gap? Donald Reid and his colleagues 30 seconds away, 12 points to 9. Only a goal can save Mayo at this stage. Peter Butler trying to wrestle the ball away. The ball will be thrown in by referee Tommy Sugru. Liam McHale anxious to get in there fast. Brian Murray against McHale. One as you'd expect by Liam McHale because of his height advantage. So this has to be it. A goal here and a possible replay. The only thing that Mayo can hope for. Raymond Dempsey punting it inside. Nobody going for it at all. It's Shovelin going back, covering acres of ground. Gary Walsh now. And Donegal just needing to hold possession. This will be a very popular win, I'm sure, if they make it. Gavigan belting it into the clear towards Tony Boyle. The goalkeeper's off his line, and Irwin leaving the ball inside, and this is how they can wrap it up. Oh, that's a penalty. Barry Cunningham taken down. A penalty right at the death to seal a Donegal victory. Defiant Donegal men, wave after wave of attack, not to be denied.
Again, a long ball has done the trick for Donegal, and again it was Tony Boyle who did the damage. Passes into Barry Cunningham. Should have stuck the ball away anyway before he was even tackled. Tomas Tierney coming in and takes the ball off his toe, but takes Barry Cunningham as well. But Barry Cunningham should probably have stuck it in the net even before the tackle went in.
So Cunningham is attended to. Brian McAniff about to sample, I think, his most famous victory ever. A man who's been associated, like this lady here, with the tears streaming from her eyes. A man who's been associated with so many great performances and so much heartbreak as well by Donegal down the years. So this is it. They'll take a point surely here.
Should kick it over the bar.
Yeah. Very sensibly done by Martin McHugh. His first point from 7 attempts. Celebrating Donegal players. Celebrating Donegal followers in many parts of the world. This match being watched across in North America, and it's all over! And it's Donegal, the Ulster champions, who reach the All-Ireland final in 5 weeks' time for the very first time. Scenes of joy and jubilation, the like of which I don't think we're going to see here for quite some time. A huge gasp of relief. The various shades of Donegal colour, the alternate strip, and of course the green and gold we saw them in this afternoon, worn proudly. The Indians are here. I don't know if there are a few cowboys around, but certainly this is the moment they're going to savour, irrespective of what happens at the final proper. It's been a terrific, defiant display in many ways by Donegal. At some stages in the game you felt they were throwing it away. They had so many wides, they had so many chances, 16 against a mere 3 for Mayo. Donegal were by far and away the better team in that respect. They created 34 chances, converted 13 of those against 9 chances out of 9 points out of 17 chances for the Mayo team. And everybody and anybody wants to be part of a very, very famous Donegal victory. And the full-time score reading, Donegal 13 points, Mayo 9, Donegal for the final.
Yes, a great day for Donegal, their first appearance in an All-Ireland final, and what a great day it is for their manager Brian McAniff, who's been involved with this Donegal team on each of the occasions that they have won the Ulster title. Going back to 1972, they've won it on 5 occasions. This being the first time, of course, that they've managed to make that breakthrough into the All-Ireland final itself against, well, will it be Dublin, will it be Clare? That's for another day to decide. We're going to take a commercial break right now. After that, we'll be back with comment about this semi-final.
Kellogg's Crunchy Nut Cornflakes are delicious golden flakes of corn encrusted with honey, nuts and brown sugar. Which makes them absolutely irresistible. Kellogg's Crunchy Nut Cornflakes. The trouble is they taste too good.
The first thing I saw was a lot of strong teeth. I perfected the smile. I just needed the teeth. Calcium in my milk helped me to develop strong teeth. But what could help to keep them strong? Aha! My own Colgate, with its unique combination of calcium and fluoride to help strengthen my teeth against decay. Colgate, with calcium and fluoride to help keep teeth strong.
Colgate, the world's biggest smile.
After 90 minutes of sheer hell, you're gonna get thirsty. This is isotonic glucosate sport. It gets to your thirst fast. Isotonic means it's in balance with your body fluids.
Prove I love you. Sure, didn't I miss the match to take you to your sister's wedding?
In a world of different ways it pays to make that call.
Starting with next Saturday's lotto draw, there will be 3 more numbers to play and a new way to win.
What a lot a little lotto can do for you.
Still working?
Yes, I blame the parents.
Dulux Weather Shield, the smooth exterior wall paint. Tough enough to withstand constant driving rain. Tough enough to survive sleet, snow and ice. Tough enough to meet the searing challenge of the sun. Dulux Weather Shield. Beautiful, but tough.
Welcome back again to Croke Park. So great scenes of joy then around the pitch here as the Donegal supporters celebrate their first appearance in an All-Ireland final, and what a joyful journey it's going to be back to the northwest for them this evening. Pat Spillane, of course, has been watching that semi-final with me here this afternoon. Pat, your thoughts on all of that?
Well, a deserved victory for Donegal, and certainly they deserve to celebrate. A dreadful game, absolutely dreadful. This is not a family programme. I think I'd use a lot stronger language. But I suppose we shouldn't be surprised really, because this match was just typical of every single match in this year's championship. Tight, exciting, tense, defences dominating, and especially dreadful forward play. The standard of forward play at the moment is very poor in this country. Here today we had 2 Donegal forwards scoring from play, and they're in an All-Ireland final. 3 of Mayo's forwards only scored from play. That's not good enough at all. Total absence of forwards who can take scores. And the other thing about it is that is there a personal foul rule? I'd just like to ask the authorities in Croke Park and the relevant refereeing authorities, because if there is a personal foul rule, it's certainly not being implemented. The amount of fouling and dangerous head-high tackles that went on there today should not be part and parcel of the game, and unfortunately it's being allowed.
Well, Pat, I suppose at this stage the Donegal supporters won't give a hoot whether there is personal foul rules or anything else, because they're into the All-Ireland semi-final. At half-time, it didn't really look that way, but a big turnaround in the second half.
Well, certainly, like I said, I knew the wind would have no bearing on Donegal's performance, because they're a short passing, they play a short passing game, which is not, the wind wouldn't bother you. They made 2 excellent substitutions in the second half. That's bringing Barry Cunningham to midfield and bringing on Manus Boyle. Looking at the Mayo substitutions, it might be noted that Noel Durkin and Pádraig Brogan, 2 of their substitutes, actually never touched the ball while they were on the field. So obviously, victory there for the Donegal backroom team.
Yeah, it would appear, Pat, that Mayo completely disrupted their own game plan throughout the course of the second half.
I wonder if they ever had a game plan. I think they were hoping to win midfield.
Well, for example, like they brought McHale out from full forward, who played deep into his own half for all of the second half. They put Sean Maher up into full forward, where in fact he had been quite effective as a midfield player, and then took him off because he wasn't getting any ball inside.
Well, I think the problem Mayo had even going to this game was that it was their forward line, and while they didn't kick too many wides, what came up to them, they weren't able to. You had too many recognised midfielders. In the end, you had Staunton, Maher, you had McHale at one part forming the forward line. That's 3 midfielders. Certainly, I don't think they have any cause for complaint. They were beaten by a better team on the day, perhaps a hungrier, determined team. But if Donegal would certainly want to improve on today's performance, their short passing game is absolutely dreadful.
Okay, Pat, we'll stop you there for a moment because Jim Carney is down on the pitch. If you remember last Sunday, we had a bit of a problem trying to find Jim in the crowd in the Kilkenny-Galway semi-final. Let's see if we have any more luck this time.
You're watching history in the making, because I'm joined now by the man who led Donegal into its first ever All-Ireland football final, Anthony Malloy. Captain, many, many congratulations. It's asking a bit much of you, Anthony, to put it into words, but this is the moment, I'm sure, that you'll cherish for all time. You've won to go, but this is the day you brought Donegal through.
Yeah, you know, there's no doubt about that, you know. Like, you know, you'll have to be proud of the last play in the second half. I think, you know, it's something similar to the Ulster final. Like, we came out, we were up against it. There were fair old breeze there, but, you know, fair play to the lads. You know, they went out, they got stuck in, and we took the game to Mayo, like, and we got the scores in the end. Like, even though they were hard to get in the first 10 minutes, but fair play, like, to the lads. Like, we kept taking away, and the scores came.
A remarkable football tradition in Donegal, Anthony, but yet the county has never been in an All-Ireland final. All the people who worked for this over 100 years and more.
No, yeah, it's no doubt. Like, it's definitely a great achievement here today. Like, and, you know, there's people back at home, like, and people in New York that can't be here, but I'm nearly sure, like, you know, their classes are being raised somewhere anyway. Especially around Donegal.
Many congratulations to you, Anthony Malloy.
Thanks very much.
Back to you, Michael.
Second point. Remember the long ball.
Well, at least Jim Carney did get an opportunity to get a few words into somebody of this particular Sunday, but as you can see, joyful scenes of pandemonium and confusion down there. But I think on this particular occasion, one will forgive and allow it to the Donegal supporters, as their hero and Jim Carney seem to be carried along in a flood of enthusiasm there. Pat Spillane, back to you again for the moment. Anthony Malloy will have the honour now of captaining Donegal for the first time ever in an All-Ireland final.
He will indeed, and it's great to see new teams coming into reaching the All-Ireland final. It creates a new excitement, and the build-up to this final now will be particularly exciting. I think people were fed up with the same old Kerry meat, Cork sort of teams. Down created great excitement last year, and it's going to be even greater again with Donegal this year, having never reached an All-Ireland final before. However, like I said, they're going to have a lot of work to do.
Particularly, you've been talking about their forwards. The shooting in the first half by the Donegal forwards was poor. Despite the fact that they won the match, it was absolutely horrific in the second half.
It was indeed. I mean, but a lot of the fault was, a lot of the reason for the bad misses was because of their short passing game, where they walked the ball, tended to walk the ball into corners, walk the ball to guys who were in no better position than themselves, and consequently they found themselves either being bottled up or in a position where they tried for a point, and it was a very difficult angle. The best example of good play from Donegal, and Donegal forwards are light, they're fast, they need the ball first time, and they need the ball into space. Now, the best example of a Donegal score was Tony Boyle's second point in the second half.
Yeah, we're going to have a look at a point from play, Pat, to take up on the point you're making. This one, I think, was the last point of play.
I'm not quite sure, was this the one? Yes, it was. It was a long ball that came in from Anthony Malloy. It was the first long direct ball that came in the entire game. Tony Boyle had made space for himself. He's a great worker, good strong man on the ball, and kicked a lovely point. They'll want to be thinking about doing more of that if they're going to beat either Dublin or Clare. They need to open it out a little bit more. They need to play it faster and more direct into that space.
Well, Manus Boyle there, one of the successes of the Donegal team when he was brought in the second half as a substitute. Looking at the game from a Mayo point of view, they were playing into the Nally stand here where our presentation position is. And I don't think there was one decent ball came into the Mayo forwards in the entire second half.
No. The Donegal midfield got on top in the second half. They moved Brian Murray out of midfield. Anthony Malloy improved 100% in his performance in the second half, and then, like I said, the introduction of Barry Cunningham, and they totally dominated. The half-back line were first to every ball, the half-forward line were winning the breaks. Funny enough, it's an unusual thing about Donegal is they always say if Martin McHugh plays well, Donegal plays well. Well, Donegal played badly today and Martin McHugh played very poorly. And I remember there was great expectation of Donegal beating Meath the last time they were in the All-Ireland semi-final. And what left them down was the half-forward line that day of the two McHughes and Joyce McMullen. Today again, unfortunately, the three of those fellas had very, very disappointing games by their own high standards.
Martin isn't trying to blow hot and cold, unfortunately, isn't he?
He's had an excellent season this year, and that's why Donegal have reached this stage. He was very poor today. Joyce McMullen was very poor. James McHugh was very poor, and Tommy Ryan, who was their leading scorer, got one ball in the first half. So you've had so many of their players, especially their forwards, playing so badly that, well, if there can be an improvement, well, who knows, Dublin or Clare, watch out.
Sure. One thing that I think will please greatly Donegal supporters, particularly over the last 15 minutes of that match, was the amount of frees that the Donegal forwards won from the Mayo backs? Because Mayo fouled consistently through the last 10-15 minutes of the game.
Well, it's very hard to stop a small, fast guy running at speed at a defence. The G on Gaelic football at the moment doesn't seem to have started out a tackle yet. And once a forward comes running at speed at a defence, really there's no alternative but to pull him down.
Well, there's Matt Gallagher, full-back on the Donegal team, who did a solid job on Liam McHale in the first half until McHale moved out into the middle of the field. I mentioned a moment ago, Pat, what a fabulous occasion this is for Brian McAniff, the Donegal manager, whom, as I said, has been involved with each successful Donegal team since 1972 when he was player manager himself.
Yes, Brian McAniff, I've always rated him highly as a manager. Very astute, tactically very clever, and like I said, the switches that he made today in the introduction of Barry Cunningham and Manus Boyle certainly proved that he is one of the top managers in the country. And he's had great success with Ulster football down through the years, winning several Railway Cup titles. And I'm glad for his sake and for all the work he's put in that they've got their just reward. Unfortunately, remember, while they can enjoy the celebrations here, no one remembers winning or losing semi-finalists. It's the winning of the All-Ireland is what determines whether you've had a successful year or not.
This is another piece of action from the game, Pat, to talk about. This is Donegal again with that Tony Boyle point that I think you were mentioning earlier on.
Yeah, Tony Boyle, and still I think today, even though he carried a bit of an injury into, Tony Boyle has added a new dimension to Donegal play, in that up to now, like I said, they've over-concentrated on short passing. But Tony Boyle is a great target man. He's a strong forward, which they lack strong forwards in Donegal. Provides a great target man. And when they did play the ball in first time to Tony Boyle won virtually every single ball. And if Donegal can play a little bit more of the long ball game the next day and utilise Tony Boyle even more, Donegal will be there or thereabouts in winning an All-Ireland. They're certainly not far away from it. And Dublin, with all due respects to Clare, Dublin will not be the raging hot favourites that most people think of capturing this year's Sam Maguire.
That brings me on to a point about next Sunday, of course, Pat. Clare are the Munster champions against the Leinster champions Dublin. How do you rate Clare's chances? Are they in with any chance, do you think?
Well, I mean, they had a very, very deserved victory over Kerry. I think on the day Kerry slightly took them for granted, but nevertheless they were beaten by a better team. I've looked at the video a few times since, and while there's a lot to admire in Clare, I genuinely think that Dublin will beat them next Sunday and probably beat them by 5 or 6 points. I think Dublin, especially their half-back line, they're very, very dominant. They're an excellent, playing pretty well. Dublin need an improvement from their forward line as well. This will be Clare's first time in the really big time, 50,000 plus in Croke Park. Hill 16 is very intimidating for a new team coming into Croke Park. I just wonder how Clare will adjust it. I honestly think it'll be a Dublin-Donegal final.
Nonetheless, it will be a fabulous thing, of course, to see Clare in the semi-final next Sunday, and to use a line of our floor manager down here in front of me, Ty de Bruin, who posed the riddle a little bit earlier on. He said, what's the difference between Neil Diamond and Clare footballers? Well, Neil Diamond has been in Croke Park twice. Will the fact that they are making that semi-final appearance be something that they will go out and enjoy and just, to use a term from another sport, give it a lash, or are they likely to be frozen up by the occasion?
Well, I remember playing against one particular team in the same situation. That was Sligo back in 1975, who had come out of the doldrums, first ever time in an All-Ireland semi-final. And I will always remember them in the pre-match parade, waving to their friends and relatives in the crowd. Now, I think they were just happy to have reached that stage. John Mahon and the Clare players will not be happy just having reached Croke Park in the All-Ireland semi-final. They know they have a realistic chance of winning the All-Ireland, of getting into an All-Ireland final. Football standards has levelled off a lot. The good teams are now not as good as they used to be. There's 24 counties in Ireland capable of winning All-Ireland. Clare are in with a shout, and certainly Mahon will have it instilled into his players the belief that they can win next Sunday.
Mahon has done so much work with this team that although you said that Kerry may have taken them slightly for granted in the Munster final, nonetheless Clare were always confident of their own ability of winning out Munster this year, and it certainly wasn't a fluke.
Well, it certainly wasn't a fluke. It was a very well deserved victory. But nowadays what you have is most counties realise that the standard is not as high as it used to be, that the so-called good counties are not as good as they used to be. Most counties now believe that they can win a match. The days are gone where the sight of a green and gold jersey of Kerry, or the red and white of Cork, or the green and gold of Meath, that's intimidating to these so-called weaker counties. It's not intimidating any longer. Clare will not be intimidated by the sight of a Dublin jersey next Sunday. Those players now believe, having won a Munster title, that they are going to beat Dublin next Sunday.
Perhaps, Pat, though, there's a more even standard at the moment in Gaelic football, because given that back in the 70s in particular, when Dublin and Kerry dominated, there were two superb footballing teams, but there really was nobody else around to match them, and the standard of football outside of that was quite appalling at times. Whereas, at least at the moment, there's a more even standard of football, given the new openness that's there.
There is indeed, and it's created great excitement. One often wonders, what does one need in Gaelic football? Is it better to have 2 or 3 teams playing quality football, or 24 teams playing mediocre average football? And well, you hate to see the same old teams, the same old faces there every year. And I suppose one has to admit that it's nice to see the likes of Clare. It's lovely to see Donegal in an All-Ireland final. There's a lot of work has been put into football down through the years in Donegal and Clare, and one would like to see those guys rewarded. Personally speaking, while it's created new excitement, the standard is it's poor. The quality of football we saw today, quality of football we have seen all year, has been very, very disappointing.
It was poor, and it wasn't particularly high today, Pat, but given that fact nonetheless, I mean, it was a very close game. If you were a supporter of either team watching this here in Croke Park or on television, you would have been at the edge of your seats all along for it. Next Sunday we will see Clare supporters here for the first time, and surely that in itself has to be something that will raise the standard of football.
Not necessarily. I mean, a neutral supporter today, you wouldn't be over enamoured by the football there. While it was close, I certainly wasn't on the edge of my seat here in excitement looking at it, because I think from an early stage, the second half, I always thought that Donegal were going to win it, and it was only a question by how much.
Do you think the fact that Dublin and Kerry did dominate football for so long through the 70s, and then perhaps Meath through much of the 80s, that other teams went backwards because they simply just didn't get a look in?
Yes, and secondly, they didn't. Most teams went out thinking that they hadn't a chance anyway. Now most teams go out realising that they have a chance. It seems to be, defences are dominating now in Gaelic football, and consequently you're getting a lot of tight marking, you're getting a lot of bunching, you're getting a lot of scrappy football, a lot of frees. Perhaps the referees will have to be that little bit stricter in implementing the personal foul rule. If guys know they're going to get away with a certain amount of pulling and dragging, well then they're going to utilise it. They're shrewd guys.
There seems to be an awful lot of spoiling in defences at the moment, Pat, and I don't think you'd fancy playing in the modern game yourself perhaps too much.
Well, certainly it's not of great benefit to the attacker at the moment anyway, when there's a guy mauling you for 70 minutes and he's getting away with it. But
I think you still managed to find a way too, Pat, nonetheless.
That's why I'm up here, Michael, now.
All right, on that note, we'll leave it. Pat Spillane, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. So there you have it then, Donegal into the All-Ireland football final for the first time in their history, and a very special day for their supporters. They'll have a chance to relive it all again later on tonight in the Sunday game at 8 o'clock, when the Telecom Éireann man of the match from this afternoon's semi-final will be announced. I hope you can join us for that, but for the moment, from everybody here in Croke Park, bye-bye to you.